So, Dan Crenshaw, one of the most corrupt people in Congress, who, by the way, takes some of the most of his money and invests it in the stock market, has come out and said about Congress, they don't pay us enough to live. Dan, I don't know if you've looked around you lately, but this ain't exactly another universe. This is planet Earth. The country is the United States. You have 80% of people living paycheck to paycheck. Most people in the country earned $30,000 a year or less. You make close to $200,000 a year in your salary, and you're bitching and moaning about not getting enough to live? What planet are you on? I mean, you damn sure ain't living wherever Thanos came from, Titan, I believe, because you're no Avenger, you're no tough guy, you're not even a smart guy. You're an opportunist. You, like Nancy Pelosi, like Chuck Schumer, like Mitch McConnell, like all these other dumbasses in Congress, they go in there, they use whatever money they can to invest in the market using insider information to get rich. That is why people like you run. And that is why we need to run against you and get you the fuck out of there. Now, having said that, obviously everybody knows Nancy Pelosi's take on this. She kind of said, "Oh, I think everybody should participate. It's a free market." Oh, Nancy, well, I got an idea for you. Nationalize the fucking stock market. You think everybody should be able to participate? How about everybody participate? Nationalize the stock market. Small taxation, maximum yield to pay for our public programs. Everybody's privy to them. You don't get much more of a fucking fairer deal than that. Jesus Christ. These people, I don't know where they get their ideology from, and it's so twisted and warped. These people have been away from their constituents for so long. I'm going to say Nancy Pelosi more so than Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw, I think he's just slightly more in tune with his folks. I mean, he had to spend a lot of time in that district to make sure that it looked like Captain Hook, make sure that he could gerrymander that district to hell and back. And funny as hell, that 10-year-old girl holding him accountable, like, "Oh, you really believe Christianity, or you believe it's the Son of God," and all this other stuff. I loved it. Oh, man, but a smart person would have come up to Dan Crenshaw and asked him about his faith and questioned his rationalization of his faith being tied to capitalism. I mean, that's what we really need to be doing with a lot of these conservatives, liberals too, who claim to be Christian. We need to come up to them and say, okay, where in the Bible did Jesus perform his miracles for a fee? When did Jesus say, "I shall performeth miracles for thine price"? When did he say that? These people don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're using religion in order to get people away from the real problem, which is them, the people running for office here, and the media, and the people on Wall Street, rigging the system in their favor, fleecing the public, and then giving bullshit stories faster than they can throw them up. Nancy Pelosi's one of the worst offenders in this case. Dan Crenshaw, I forget if he was number 3 or 4, like the 3rd or 4th worst offender in this category, but the best way to really get rid of this is to nationalize the stock market. And by the way, Dan Crenshaw whines about, "Oh, they don't pay us enough to live." It's like George Carlin said, "Drop some of your needs." Well, what do I mean by needs? I'm kind of being facetious when I use that word here, but you don't need a fucking Lamborghini. You don't need a private yacht. You don't need a mansion. You don't need a private island. You don't need 2 private jets like Kenneth Copeland. You don't need to buy an entire, public park for your own. You don't need any of that shit. Drop it. These guys are so detached. They have no idea what it's like to be a regular person anymore. They see this as an opportunity to make money. That's the only reason they run. It's another reason why we need a public banking system. I'll be doing a segment on that in a little while. But nationalizing the stock market is probably the best way to ensure that everybody's privy to the benefits of the economy. We're going to have to pay taxes no matter what kind of system we have. Norway does this, I believe. They have this thing where you invest a little bit up front, and they take your tax money and invest it into the best possible ventures. And part of their job is to switch that up according to what's performing well at the time. And as that happens, your portfolio, everybody's portfolio gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The national stock portfolio gets bigger. So you are privy to all the benefits that come with that. All the dividends come into this pool to pay for public programs. Minimum taxation, maximum yield. All right, that's how the stock market works, right? And this ties the stock market directly into how the real economy does. And if you want to go international with it, you could. It would be a much more cooperative way of doing things, certainly. You could, do it all kinds of different companies from everywhere, and the better they do, the better that portfolio gets, the more we can pay for healthcare, the more we can have tuition-free college, the more we can pay for upgraded infrastructure that could be the envy of the world, the more we could, the more we could use that portfolio to publicly fund elections as opposed to relying on private billionaire and corporate donations. Just nationalizing the stock market has so many upsides here. But Dan Crenshaw, again, I know I'm getting a little off track with the title on the thumbnail here, but for Christ's sake, Dan Crenshaw, like all these other congresspeople and senators, go in there, they want to make money, and they use what little income they have. That little income, yeah, right. $200,000 is a fortune to working people these days. They go in there to make money, and it's like, go to Wall Street, dude. You don't belong in Washington. You don't belong in public service if your goal is to get rich. And Harry Truman, I believe, was the one who said, you don't get rich in politics unless you're a crook. I think I'm probably butchering the phrase, what he said there, but that was basically his point, and he's right. So let's get these motherfuckers where it hurts, man. Let's try to vote these people out as best we can. Let's primary them. Let's get people in these primary races who will agree to nationalize the stock market. I think that's a really good way to try to get around and fight this corruption. So, Dan Crenshaw, man, complaining that he doesn't get paid enough to live. Oh, fuck. Grow a ball sack, Dan. Grow a ball sack, because you damn sure don't have one now.